Hey there everybody, and welcome to my first impression review of the Bentley Continental GT. Now, usually when I do a first impression review, I tend to do a walk around of the car prior to taking it out on the road. Now, I'm at the SMMT South Day, so this is one of the regional test days. I've got a very limited time with the car, so if you want to see a walk around of the Continental GT, click up in the top right hand corner to watch my walk around video when the Bentley Continental GT was doing its kind of UK launch around the country. So I've finally got the keys, just to prove it. Look. There they are. I've got the keys to this Continental GT. It is the W12 version, and I think it's time we take it for a bit of a drive. So, 6 litre W12 twin turbocharged. Let's see what that sounds like. Well, yeah. Oh, okay, that's giving me some goosebumps. So, I do apologise now as well in advance because I have got a bit of a cold coming. Hopefully it will disappear. But I've got all the facts and figures and everything for the car. So yeah, 6 litre twin turbocharged W12, so 626 brake horsepower, all-wheel drive. This is a gigantic GT car. It's got a bit of weight to it. You're going to have things coming up at the bottom of the screen because ideally the big thing now is to go for a drive. So I'm going to put it into reverse. Right, nobody behind me. Now I am going to have little kind of facts and figures for the car coming up at the bottom of the screen. And away we go. So this is a very special moment for me because if you're not aware that the Continental GT walk around video I did is actually the most viewed video for Auto Bears, over 300,000 views. So hopefully, you know, you'll get a few more after this. And I like to kind of complement it and have them both together. But let's get the window up and take it for a bit of a drive. You're going to hear a little beep. I'm going to have the camera going in front of me that's facing forward. I'm hoping that's recording. Yes, it is. So first impressions, well, it's a Bentley Continental GT. It's very quiet, just going over that sleeping policeman. Very smooth, lovely rumble from that W12. There is a V8 version coming as well. So that'll be kind of the more sportier version in terms of the GT range. So this is more just for crossing continents, literally. Continental GT. It is a proper Grand Tourer. Everything in here just feels absolutely lovely. The wood, the leather, there are a lot of options on this. This has got one of the options I absolutely love and I really want to experience it. And you know, Bentley, if you want to loan me one of these for a couple of days, I'm not going to say no. And that's the Naim sound system. It's a quite hefty option. You're going to see it again going across the bottom of the screen. As I said, I've got a limited time with this car, so I just want to get out there and experience it. So, got a head-ups display, which gives you traffic sign recognition, lets you know what speed you're doing, and if you've got any of the safety systems on, like lane assist, things like that, adaptive cruise control. What's lovely is I'm looking in the side mirrors, in the rear view mirrors, and you just got this huge, pronounced rear arch. I personally think this is so much better than the previous generation Continental GT. It looks a lot more modern, a lot more sharper in its look. It doesn't look like a footballer's car per se, because that was what the previous generation was renowned for. I love the rear end of this car. I love how the tail lights mimic the exhaust pipes. It's just absolutely lovely. Now I've got a RAV4 behind me. I think he's going to want me to put my foot down, but you know what? I'm crossing the continent. I'm driving around, enjoying the view. Right, I do love this lovely sweeping vista here of farmland. And oh, it's effortless. It really is. I literally have just gone straight up to the speed limit there. There's no fuss, there's no drama. It just does it and it just goes along. Rear visibility is, well, I know I'm going into full automotive journalism mode, but rear visibility is quite a tight rear screen. Reasonably chunky A-pillars, but they're not too bad. There's a little bit of extra window in the corner. The view out the front is absolutely lovely. Oh, just giving it a little bit of a tease. So looking at the center console, there are a lot of buttons here, but I know after a short while of driving the car, if you own it, you'll get used to them. You can, if you want, not sure if I've done that yet, but you can get the spoiler to pop out if you want it to. I think I have, I'm not sure. It's got a little aerodynamic active aero spoiler. One of the things that did make me laugh when I did the walk around of the GT is the fact that it has actually got start stop. So you've got it so it can just cut the engine out, so it saves you a few pennies in between petrol station fill-ups. Let's have a little look. So you've also got heated and ventilated seats, both for the passenger and for the driver. Dual zone climate control, of course. There's a lovely, oh, it's got a nice feel to it. That's a lovely feel. And there's knurling around the dials. It's just, I'm just taking it in. I do apologise. So yeah, I'm just taking in everything about the Continental GT. We have got that screen in the centre of the console, which does flip, and I'll do a little video and kind of put it over the top of this as we go along. I mean, in terms of the interior, I'll be honest, I'm not 100% taken with the wood trim. I'm probably showing the fact that I'm a little bit younger than probably a lot of Continental GT drivers. I would like something possibly like a aluminium or maybe a carbon fibre, just to give it kind of a modern, to kind of match that modern exterior look to it. But the wood has got a lovely finish to it. Of course, it's going to be real. You've got the typical Bentley clock, analog clock in the centre between the vents. We have got a full digital cockpit. It is a 12.5-inch digital display, same as what you get in Audis. So it is a kind of showing that this is a Volkswagen Group product. Oh, but that is just, it's just effortless. The power is there. I mean, the weight of this car, it is quite an expensive car, and also as well the weight of the car as well. You know, it's going to be over a couple of tons, but you know what, I think you have to kind of thrash this through the corners to get an idea of that weight and to really feel it. But this has got a lot of adaptive suspension. It's got one of those systems where if you turn sharply or heavily into a corner, it'll actually force the opposite side of the suspension to kind of hold you up, so it means that the car will remain flat in the corners. I mean, you're getting looks from people everywhere you go, and the main reason as well is because of the colour. I am absolutely loving this orange. It just stands out. This is actually my favourite colour for the Continental GT. I'm going to have the name of it going across the bottom of the screen because I'm just taking in the experience. But you know what? If you don't like this colour, put a comment in the box below and let me know what you think is the best colour for the Continental GT, or your favourite, I should say. There you go, there's the start stop. So everything's just gone eerily quiet. And considering the size of the engine, the capacity, it's so quiet. This is a, you know, I mean, I was expecting it to be quiet, but This is eerily quiet, especially with the power that's underneath. There we go. And you know what, I was getting a little bit panicky because of the fact of, you know, this is a big car, but it's actually, it doesn't feel too imposing. I can look, seeing where the arches are, it doesn't feel like a huge car. I don't feel like I'm going to bump it and scrape it everywhere I go. So, sorry, if you, in the front little part there, you might have just saw Aaron from Car Obsession. Here we go. Okay. So there was Aaron from Car Obsession in the Ford Ranger Raptor. That might be a car I have to drive later on. Definitely a different world from this. So, now modes, we've got a couple of modes here, as you would do with a lot of these cars. So it's currently in Bentley mode, and that is like the ultimate soft, refined mode for the car. You've also got comfort, which does the exact same there, but it's kind of more, probably more pliant. I think it's twist it along, and it does softens up the throttle response as well. So this really is like the comfort setting for doing a long range drive in the car. And then there is actually a sport mode. So if I turn him over, let's have a little listen. So there's nobody behind me. Oh, oh, that's lovely. But you know what? Oh, and you get a fart from the back of the car. I'm gonna have to do the window down. I'm not sure if it's gonna pick it up on the mic. So, hugely impressive. And the one thing I've just noticed looking down is that there's actually 4 window buttons here. So if I press the rear one, it actually does just behind you. So for those thinking that it was actually a fixed window, it's not. Anyone who's sat in the back can actually have the window down, and they can get a little bit of air and ventilation going to them. So that's actually a nice thought there for Bentley, because they are expecting you to have passengers in the back of this car. Now, I'm not going to have time to actually sit behind, but I'm sure there's plenty of room for somebody like me to sit in the back. Whether or not, if you're 6 foot you know, tall and taller, if you can sit back there, probably not. So just taking it out of sport mode, back into Bentley mode. And just enjoying the ride. Lovely and relaxing. I'm gonna hopefully get some photos of the exterior and interior before I take it back to the team at Bentley. And if you're watching this, guys, you know, if you're feeling very kind and generous and feel that, you know, the Auto Bear community want to know what the Continental GT is like to live with, I will more than happily take one off your hands for a week and give it a, you know, a proper good review. But as a first impression, I'm in love with this. I'm very smitten. And it's just, for me, the power, it's not the key aspect. But you know what? It's just how effortless it is moving the GT. The power is kind of it's got to be there for you, because it's got to make things effortless. You've got to kind of cross continents in one go. But it doesn't feel like the key aspect to this car. The key aspect is the refinement. It's the quietness, the comfort. It's everything else. It's the experience of driving a Bentley. I mean, I just went over a sizable pothole there, and I think this just coped with it brilliantly. No drama, no fuss. I'm just tootling along now. I mean, it's literally on tick over, but there's nothing. There's no purr from the engine. It's just quiet. And that, you know, is going to lead me now to what's my first impression review on the Bentley Continental GT. Kind of weird that the guy in the Wrangler is driving past and I'm the one that has to go off-road. I mean, it's brilliant. This is absolutely lovely. I love... Yeah. I don't think there's much more I can say. So I'm just going to park this up now and take some photos of it. Guys, if you've got any questions, comments, put them down below. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram, Facebook and Twitter. And yeah, I will catch you all in the next video. This has been a wonderful experience. Do apologise, I've not been able to give you loads of facts and figures and everything, but you know what? I just kind of had to... I just wanted to enjoy the experience of driving a Continental GT for the first time. So guys, have yourselves a wonderful day. I've definitely had a wonderful day. It doesn't matter if I have to go home now. But this has been, yeah, a box has been ticked today. And I'm so glad to actually be able to drive the Continental GT and have it complement the walk around video I did a couple of years ago. So I hope in that respect, you feel as though you've got, you know, there's like a full closure, full circle in that respect of the Continental GT. But guys, have a great one. Catch you soon.